I was just thinking about what you said about like the everything being ultra polarized, no one could get along. The guy to me that did the best job of bridging that stuff, and I listened to your interview with him when I was prepping for this, was Anthony Bourdain. Because he could go to like fucking... He went to these cultures that they really did have views we would view as horrible about women or gay people or whatever, and he intentionally didn't focus on that. He focused on food and like where you live, and I don't know, like I obviously didn't know him at all, but his death really hit me hard because I just think that's really hard to do, and we need way more people like that, and we don't have any.
Yeah, that one hit me hard. That was one of the roughest ones.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was that depressed. I had no idea. You know, I knew that he's a complicated guy, but I actually got a text message from my friend Maynard, the lead singer of Tool, he's a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and Bourdain's a jiu-jitsu practitioner too. And the two of them, you know, I thought it was really cool that they both got into jiu-jitsu and they're finding all this benefit from it emotionally and physically. And Bourdain got into it like in his late 50s, and all of a sudden he got ripped, and like because he had addictive personalities. Yeah. It was terrible when he was doing heroin, but amazing for jiu-jitsu, because all of a sudden, like, this guy's like super dedicated, and he's training every day. And so Maynard was like, I think I want to have a celebrity jiu-jitsu match with Anthony Bourdain. Do you think you could hook that up? I go, oh, I'll ask him, man. Just joking around. And then I get this phone call or this text message when I was in Chicago from Maynard saying, I guess we won't be having that celebrity jiu-jitsu match.
That's how you found out?
That's how I found out. I woke up in the morning, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, what does that mean? Fuck. And then I Google Anthony Bourdain, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones where you just got, God damn it, I wish I was there. Yeah. I wish I was there with him. I would say, listen, this will pass, man. You are loved. You are a beloved person.
Well, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize about suicide, because I've written a little bit about this, is it's a much more impulsive thing than people often realize. And it is that question of, like, if someone can be... That's why suicide hotlines are so important. Can you talk someone off that emotional cliff in the moment? Because if you can...
Yeah, you could probably turn them around and stop a lot of pain.
It's so fucking sad.
And for him, he had so much to offer. His perspective was so unique and so passionate, and I just feel real fortunate to have met him and known him and got to hang out with him a bunch of times. It was, it's just when someone, at least he left behind a lot.
Yeah.
He left behind a lot of his work. He left behind a lot of his writing. His writing was brilliant, and his show was brilliant. And
you never, like, when you're just a normal person watching a celebrity, you can never tell, like, how much of it is an act. In his case, he was at the very least, like, he really convincingly just seemed like he was just a great guy. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone disliking him based on the personality of the show.
People could definitely dislike him. He was polarized. If he didn't like you, he talked a lot of shit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he talked a lot of shit about, like, the Dave Matthews Band and shit like that. Like,
really?
Because he was just humorous. He was a comic, basically.
Well, yeah, but
he wasn't a comic, but he was. You know, like we talked about, like he started doing these live performances where he would go in front of a whole theater.
He was just getting into that when he was on your show, right?
Yeah. Yes, and he loved it. And we talked a lot about, like, how to do it and how often you should turn over material and, what the approach is. And he would come to see comedy a lot. Like he came to a bunch of my shows, and we talked about. It's just a bummer, man.
Yeah.
It's just he was so unique. I wanted to see him get older, and I wanted to see his perspective. But that motherfucker partied hard, dude. Hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I partied with him a few times, but the hardest I ever partied with him, we were in Montana, and we were for his show. We went pheasant hunting.
I saw that. You guys went. Yeah.
And then afterwards, he cooked for us, which was amazing. We cooked pheasant, and I think they had grouse, and we had some steaks. And then we sat by the fire and drank whiskey and smoked weed, and we got barbecued. And that guy just kept going.
Yeah.
He just kept going. I'm like, how can one possibly drink anymore? Like, we're so fucked up. And he's like, who's got the bottle? It's like, fucking, let's go. Like, he was just going and just couldn't stop hitting the pipe and smoking more weed and, and drinking more alcohol. And we were under the stars. It was pretty wild. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I just got to see, like, some people, he had, like, a real issue with heroin and never became sober. He just sort of transitioned it into booze and partying that way. But man, when you talk food with that guy, when you talk culture with that guy, and just he had a passion for it was literally like the dream job for him. Like that gig, whether it was No Reservations or whether it was what was the new show called? Parts Unknown?
Parts Unknown, yeah.
He just had this love of exploring the way people get together. Like when you sit with him and watch him like talk to people while they're eating and talk about food, the fucking guy would just light up. He loved it.
I was this is a subject we don't need to get into. In parts, I don't know much about it, but I was so impressed, honestly, that he went to the Gaza Strip. When he has that platform, he goes to a part of the world most Americans know nothing about, that doesn't really get attention. That says something about a guy, that he would choose to use his platform in that way. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, he was an impressive guy.
Yeah.
He was one. There's a few friends that I have that I can't really believe they're my friend. So when I'm around him, I get a little nervous.
Starstruck?
Yeah, even when he was my friend, I was still starstruck around him, just because I admired him so much, and because I was a big fan of his show. I was a big fan of No Reservations before I ever met him as a person.
Yeah.